If you live in any of the coastal states, hurricanes are a reality that cannot be ignored. We are all aware that we could be in the path of the next Andrew, Hugo, Charlie, or Katrina. Smart homeowners do all they can to protect their homes and families from the inevitable. When you think of hurricane protection, most people think of shutters, and for too many, that's where it ends, giving them a false sense of security. Hurricane protection is all about removing the weakest link from your home. We all know that shutters and garage door protection are important, but what about your roof? It's the largest area of your home vulnerable to hurricane wind. A major insurance carrier has reported that 50 to 70% of hurricane losses are caused by roof failure and water intrusion after shingles and tile fail. Codes for new construction have gotten stronger, but that doesn't help existing homes. So what can be done to protect the home or business from roof failure? FoamSeal Hurricane Adhesive. FoamSeal offers two types of protection and peace of mind. First, testing has shown that FoamSeal can triple the strength of your roof. And second, stop rainwater intrusion. It's important to state that FoamSeal is the only product that's tested and patented to strengthen your roof and provide a secondary rainwater barrier. We're going to simulate hurricane conditions with this fire hose on a roof system built to current code. As wind and rain rush over a roof, a suction force develops. This suction or uplift can tear the shingles and tile off and continue to tear off the tar paper. Uplift force winds are strong enough to keep a jet in the sky, but when these same forces are applied to your roof during a hurricane, the result can be devastating. These forces can even rip plywood right off the roof trusses. Flying debris is another factor that causes major damage to your roof. As you can see, strong winds and rain are going to damage shingles, tile, and the tar paper below, and then allow rain to enter your home. When a roof is built, carpenters leave a space about the thickness of a cardboard box all along the edges of the plywood sheets. These small gaps don't look like much, but they're everywhere. If you add these up, it can be like a whole sheet of plywood is missing. We've set up a small garden sprinkler on this roof to show you how much water comes pouring into the house in just a short time. Now this simulates a very light rain. You can only imagine how much water would come in if this was a heavy rain like we get during a hurricane. This will run for about an hour, and we'll come back to see what happens later. But you can already see how much water is soaking into the insulation. What we're going to do now is apply FoamSeal to every gap in the roof system. This will keep the water out. Our crew is also going to glue the plywood to the trusses to increase the strength of the roof, and we'll talk about that later. FoamSeal is university tested and patented. This is a two-part adhesive that mixes together and reacts like an epoxy to make an extremely strong glue and secondary water barrier. FoamSeal is applied from inside your attic to the underside of your roof plywood. It's never directly exposed to hurricane winds. It takes 1 day to apply without disturbing the home below. You know, I've been in a lot of attics, and I'm still shocked at the number of nails that went through the plywood but missed the truss below. With FoamSeal, you can always see that you're protected. This is the roof we just applied FoamSeal to. Now we'll do the same fire hose demonstration we did on the shingle roof, except we turned it up a notch. Not only is more pressure being applied, the pressure is concentrated directly to the joints and the top of the roof, where water would normally be able to pour into your home. This shows how well FoamSeal keeps water out. We're so confident in FoamSeal that we left the shingles and tar paper off so that FoamSeal can take the full pressure without letting water through. As you can see from the camera we put under the roof, if this was your home, you would be protected from water intrusion.
Today we did a roof demonstration on 2 different roof props. One roof prop with roof up to normal code, just plywood and shingles, and the other roof prop having the foam sealant on the underside of the plywood sheathing. On the first prop, we used several different patterns on our hose stream, from wide fog, narrow fog to straight stream. We made sure to get underneath the shingles and hit all the roof joints, and as you see, it blew the shingles off of the roof in a minimal amount of time. It didn't hold up well at all, and there's no sealant underneath on the underside of the plywood to keep the water from coming through, so anything on the underside of the roof more than likely will get wet without the shingle and the tar paper on there. The second prop, however, with the foam sealant on it, had no shingles and no tar paper on it, and when we hit it with the straight stream with excessive pressure, it held up very well. What we were trying to do is simulate hurricane force wind and rain, and as I said before, the foam on the underside of the plywood held up real well, and it's good stuff.
The sprinkler's been running for about an hour. Let's see what we have. It's a mess. Water's come through all of the gaps, soaking the insulation and the drywall. All this water is going to start leaking in around lights and through the ceiling, pouring onto your carpet, cabinets, electronics, and keepsakes. You might be able to catch some of it in buckets, pots, and pans, but there is still a lot of water trapped in your attic insulation. Just look at the amount of water that soaked this insulation after only an hour of light sprinkling. It's easy to see how ceilings collapse after heavy hurricane rains. Everything in your home can be ruined. This much water in a home after a storm with the power shut off during the heat of the summer makes the ideal condition for mold growth. No one wants to expose their family to future mold problems, not to mention the high cost of mold removal. At the beginning, I talked about the 2 benefits of FoamSeal. You've seen how effective FoamSeal is at keeping water out. Now this demonstration will show how FoamSeal will dramatically strengthen your roof. We'll compare the strength of a roof built to current code with nails only to a roof reinforced with FoamSeal. This testing simulates uplift force. As we mentioned earlier, hurricane winds generate uplift forces that can tear your roof apart. This first roof sample was nailed to meet the new building codes. Watch the scale on the inset to see the amount of uplift force applied to this sample. It doesn't take much force to pull the plywood off. This sample fails at only 500 pounds. Now this roof sample has been reinforced with FoamSeal. Let's see how it compares to the nailed sample. Watch the scale on the inset to see just how much pressure is being applied. Partway through this test, you'll see a failure. Not FoamSeal, but a steel bolt that's part of the rigging started to bend, causing us to stop the test. This is a 1/2-inch steel eye bolt that failed. You can imagine the amount of stress this is under. To make sure we are really testing the FoamSeal, we welded these bolts and started the test again on the same sample. We're really applying a lot of force now. You can hear the plywood snapping apart, but FoamSeal holds on. FoamSeal finally failed at 3,600 pounds, 7 times more than our nailed sample. Growing up in Miami, I remember putting masking tape on windows and hoping for the best while watching hurricanes come through. We've come a long way from that with upgraded building codes and new shutter designs. But recent hurricanes have shown the existing structures might not withstand the next hurricane. Fortification of these buildings is key to reducing future losses. FoamSeal gives us a real way to protect our homes and protect our families.